Welcome to the regular board meeting of June 29th, 2026. Pittsburgh Water. We'll start with the roll call.
Ms. Lever?
Here.
Ms. Strasburger?
Here.
Ms. Leach? Mr. Delmont?
Here.
Ms. McCormick-Barron?
Here.
Mr. Bay?
Here.
Mr. Fishbach?
Here.
Mr. Irwin?
Here.
Mr. Cucker?
Here.
Madam Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you. We have a full house, so thanks everybody for accommodating us in your summer schedule. Do we have anybody for public comment? We need an approval of the meeting minutes of May 22nd, 2026. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve. Second.
Any changes or corrections? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Finance Department report.
Morning, Chair, members of the board. Happy Monday. Say that too often. Included in your board packet is the finance report through May 31st, 2026. Receipts in May total $23 million, which is about $1.6 million higher than the budget amount. However, if you recall, at our last board meeting, I said we should anticipate a little bit of a higher collection amount, so that's being reflected there with the actuals for the month of May. Year-end receipts are projected to be $280.9 million. That's about $469,000, or 0.2% below the budget. In all actuality, we're really pretty much where we should be, or projecting to be where we should be for the year, which is a good thing. Departmental operating expenditures through May 31st, 2026, total $46.1 million. It represents about 29% of the budget for the year. And on the capital expenditure side, the capital expenditures through that same period total about $80.2 million, which is a good pace for us to be at this point in the year. $47.8 million in debt service costs that have been paid through May 31st. Represents about 45.8% of the budget for the year. And our year-end debt service costs are projected to be $103.6 million, which is about $627,000 lower than the budget for the year. With that, this concludes my brief report today, but I'll turn it back over and answer any detailed questions as needed. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Two things. Thanks for sharing with us the look at the solar panel
Yes.
down at the treatment plant. And on that note, if you were interested in thinking about solarizing the roof of the Crucible building, I can get you 228
the presentation. They just want
I'm
this
listening.
Did you want to
no commission
switch
needed,
that?
but it's a farm operation. Their Juniata is going to X now, and so these are basically available to anybody to do a large scale application. I don't think they're suitable for the project down at the plant, but if you're thinking of the Crucible building, maybe not, just let me know.
Yeah, and just to speak on that, we are, so it's something we've looked at. The roof on that building is a little bit unique, but solar can be possible.
Well, actually, it would account for a far greater fraction of the energy use in the building. The plant's going to be pulling mega amps with all the pumping and stuff. The finance question is, for some of the outstanding accounts, they're all being charged interest?
Correct, yes.
1.5%?
Yes. They follow our tariff percentage, but yes, they're all
Yeah,
charged.
so that's actually very excellent. That's ratepayer equity, but for those folks, it sort of spreads out their invoices, it stretches their cash flow. It's basically low interest on collateralized loan. That's excellent.
Okay. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Ed.
Thank you.
Come on.
Rachel Beam, Engineering Department report.
Morning, Chair Lever, members of the board. I do have a lot of information for you this morning. So, we have slides. So today, I'm going to highlight our small diameter sewer redevelopment Rehabilitation Program. I try to do these once a month where we highlight a program. These contracts involve the inspection and focused rehabilitation of our sewers to improve our system reliability and minimize disturbance to the community. These contracts utilize cured-in-place, aka CIPP lining, excavation point repairs, manhole raises, and new manholes to address defects. This program began in 2019 with contracts awarded annually, and we have received consistent Penvest and Alcosan Grow funding for these projects. So shown here is a summary of our active projects, defined sites that we call them, as well as our indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity, which are used for our immediate needs. I'm not going to go through this whole slide in detail, but just want to highlight a couple of the bigger, most current ones. The 2025 small diameter sewer program has been submitted to DEP for Penvest technical approval, and contracts 1 or 2 are currently in pre-construction. Anticipated notice to proceed is late June, around this time. We are moving forward with that. Contract 3 is currently in permitting, and as shown, these contracts will include 24.4 miles of inspection, approximately 14.7 miles of rehab, and 191 new or raised manholes. And this work will take place in Beltuber, Sheridan, and Arlington. And then the 2026 small diameter program has been submitted to DEP for Penvest technical review as well. It's currently in the bidding phase with notice to proceed anticipated this fall. This will include 4.5 miles of inspection, 2.1 miles of rehab, and 40 new or raised manholes in the Hazelwood neighborhood. And the totals at the bottom just give you a little idea of the magnitude of what we're doing here. These are current active projects in various stages. So the selection of these of our defined sites for the program is currently based on several factors, including inspection status, CCTV, previous repairs, and customer complaint history. Other factors that we take into account include the neighborhood's EPA Environmental Justice Index rating, with a focus on areas with an index rating between 75 and 100%, areas that have high levels of inflow and infiltration, and the impact to other nearby utilities, areas where there could be significant future projects to meet our future compliance goals are generally avoided, so that we're avoiding redundant work. The curing of the lining temporarily releases small amounts of styrene. So we've recently prioritized styrene monitoring and increased our community outreach as a result of this. And that communication includes door hangers with sewer lining information and anticipated work dates, robocalls to residents, community meetings, street poster, and we also have street posters with links to additional information. And we also have an updated website with details on the process and styrene. We've also added continuous monitoring of styrene levels during the lining work, and our CMCI firms, our construction inspection firms, will have handheld monitors on site to verify readings when responding to complaints. And additionally, all our inspectors will go through styrene response training. So several of our SDSR, small diameter sewer rehab projects, have utilized Alcosan's GROW program for funding. I'm a little trouble advancing the slides.
Oh,
Sorry.
you're good.
Thank you. So that's Alcosan's green revitalization of our waterways, aka GROW funding. This funding is provided by Alcosan for source reduction projects in their partner communities and authorities. So parts of our 2019, 2021, 22, and 23 rehab programs were awarded GROW funding, with allocation reimbursements ranging between 15 and 28% of the total construction cost. A total of $2.4 million in grant funding has been awarded through GROW. A portion of the 2027 contract is anticipated to be submitted for GROW consideration. Penvest grants and loans also have been utilized for this program from 2020 onward. Since then, a total of $132 million has been awarded through Penvest. This figure does include the recent award announced this spring for the 2026, 27, and 28 programs. The 2026 program used an in-house, I am trying to, thank you. I know if I'm pressing the wrong button or what. The 2026 program used an in-house design approach for the Hazelwood neighborhood. This neighborhood was chosen due to its status as an environmental justice inspection data. All components of the inspection and rehab design of this area were completed by Pittsburgh Water staff, including the inspection, review, and development of the design documents. The program started in March of 25, was submitted to Penvest in last October, currently in the bidding phase with an estimated construction cost of $3.1 million. And this effort did increase our staff awareness of the design challenges and also created some really successful collaboration connections among our various departments, including engineering, operations, compliance, and GIS. So moving forward, I do have some photos for you. This example defect was captured with CCTV inspection, shows a pipe fracture on Glenwood Avenue in Hazelwood that will be rehabbed in our 2026 program. Shown here are pipe collapse examples on Exchange Way and Shady Crest Road in the Strip District and Beachview respectively. And other defects can include utility line penetration, offset pipe joints, and broken pipe walls. Some examples of open cut point repairs. On the left, we're in Knoxville, and on the right, we are working in Homewood. Shown here is the process of a new manhole installation in Knoxville. Finally, these photos show CIP lining in Carrick and Homewood, left and right respectively. I'm shown in the first photo on the left is the inversion process. So the liner is inserted and flipped inside out as it passes through the machine, almost like turning a sock inside out. And we use pressurized steam to push the liner through the pipe, and that's maintained until the lining is complete. And the photo on the right shows the opposite end of the lining process during the curing. And then once that curing is complete, the tail end is cut and post-televising is completed. Today I also have a visual aid, a portion of a cured piece of pipe lining. It was sitting on the table on the side, and somebody may have thought it shouldn't have been there. Oh, thank you, Sandra. It's here. It's around. It's a little piece of white pipe floating around somewhere. So we'll try to find that, and if anyone's interested, you can see a visual of what that lining actually looks like, and it's basically, it does become very rigid and forms a pipe within a pipe. Moving on to updates on our water reliability plan. Construction progress is continuing in full force on the Aspinwall Pump Station, Brecken Pump Station, and Clearwell Bypass Project, aka ABC, which is the largest project to date in the water reliability plan. So these photos both show the pouring of the concrete foundation for a future chemical building adjacent to the Aspinwall Pump Station that will be used to feed orthophosphate and fluoride. In this next slide, we are showing, thank you. Thanks. On the left is electrical duct bank work in the basement of the Aspinwall Pump Station. And then we have an aerial view of that chemical building foundation construction that I mentioned that we saw earlier. These are views of the installation of the supportive excavation wall, and this is in preparation for the construction of the foundation. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong one. Yes, supportive excavation wall in preparation for the installation of the Clearwell bypass piping. I think I went one too many. Here we have views of the installation of another supportive excavation wall in preparation to construct the foundation of the future Washington Boulevard pump station that will replace the Brecken pump station that you can see in both photos on the right side. And finally, on ABC, we have ground level and aerial views of preparing to construct the new Clearwell overflow vault adjacent to our outlet gatehouse. And that will provide a method of overflowing the clear well when the clear well is out of service. That is my last slide for the moment, but I will be going back to slides in a moment. Also in water reliability plan news, we did receive the DEP permit for the Aspinwall and Fox Chapel interim feed project, and this will provide disinfection to Fox Chapel Authority, Waterworks Mall, and other large customers while that new clear well is constructed. Our consent decree now requires construction of this project within 3 years and 8 months of the permit. Moving on to an update on our lead service line program, a total of 15,496 public and 11,915 private side lead service lines have been replaced through June 26th. We currently have 12 active construction contracts that involve lead line service line replacements in one form or another. These are a combination of small diameter water main replacements, neighborhood contracts, and urgent contracts. And the work includes verification to identify the material of the service line, the lead service line replacement itself, water main replacements, and restoration of pavement and landscaping. One interesting development I'd like to share with the board regarding our lead program is a recent increase in the percentage of lead service lines we're finding in some neighborhoods. The prevalence of these lines does vary, but in general, we've seen on average approximately 25 to 30% lead, very broadly. But in several of our 2025 neighborhood lead contracts, which are currently in construction progress, we're seeing numbers ranging from 43% to 55% lead on the public side, and from 43% to 49% on the private side. And these are in neighborhoods including but not limited to Oakland, Homewood, Marshall, Shadeland, and Point Breeze. And I'm almost finished, a couple more things. The following projects are currently out for construction bids. We have CSO Diversion Chamber and Outfall Rehabilitation Phase 1. Those bids are due June 30th, tomorrow. And 2025 small diameter water main replacement, bids are due July 21st. Finally, for my report today, I would like to recognize engineering staff who were selected for technical presentations in the first half of 2026. At the PA-AWWA conference in early May, we had Sonia Sevilla, supported by Frank Sederi, reporting on how we will disinfect our water when the clear well is taken out of service. We had Shannon Connell presenting on our lead service line termination program, which is a very interesting concept and underscores the complexity of our lead service line program. In addition to just replacing service lines, we also are mandated by the PUC not to allow any partial lead service lines, meaning we cannot have either public or private lead under any circumstances, which means that we must reach, if the private side has lead, we must get in touch with that customer and have them sign their agreement so that we can replace their service line at no cost to them. And then finally, Dan Cleary presented on our large diameter water main replacement program, also at PA-AWWA. As well, at the 7th National Adaptation Forum in mid-May. This is held twice a year in different locations throughout the country. It happened to be in Pittsburgh this year, and it focuses on taking action towards climate resiliency, and Ryan Quinn presented on our Whiteman Park Green Infrastructure project. That concludes my report. Thank you for your attention. That was a lot of information. I'll turn it over for any questions.
Thanks, Rachel. Any questions or comments?
Yeah, I got a question. That big bump you're finding in lead service lines, is that both sides?
It is. It's both sides.
Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Not in every neighborhood, but it is happening in quite a few.
For the most part, it's both sides.
Quite a few neighborhoods in our 2025 neighborhood contracts. Yes.
It's interesting.
It's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the house age is probably not any different than somewhere, yeah. Huh. Just
Yeah.
goes to show you can't use AI here, can you? You got to dig a hole.
Yeah, we definitely. There doesn't seem to be a lot of rhyme or reason.
I have a related question to that. Does the increase mean that our costs and our timeline are going to change upward?
They may, to be honest, yes. We are currently looking at that. We may have to move some work out of those 2025 contracts. So we're figuring that out right now, and we'll definitely keep the board apprised.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Rachel. Just a quick request. I'm a big maps person overall, but it might be helpful, especially as we're so intensively in the lead program, to have a map of like which neighborhoods are done, which neighborhoods are in progress, and which neighborhoods are upcoming, and to get those regularly with the reports, just to know kind of spatially where we are and also where we might get feedback from as neighborhoods come into the program.
Will do. I was doing that for a while. I got away from it, so appreciate that feedback.
Thanks.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Frank Sederi, Chief Operations and Environmental Compliance Report.
All right, good morning. I am going to actually have a couple of slides today as well to start us off. So we will begin there. These aren't quite as fancy as Rachel's, so. A little bit of a map here I wanted to start with. We've talked a lot about our different service areas, and in particular our Highland 1 service area. So shown there on that map, hopefully everybody can see the outline of the city and the three rivers. The area that's shown in the shades of green there is our Highland 1 super system, and it serves roughly a third of our service area. This super system does include 3 secondary pump stations supplying 4 different water storage facilities. However, a large portion, as you can see shown in the dark green there, is directly served by pumping without a storage reservoir. So this dark green area we pump currently from our Brecken pump station up into this area, and those pumps at the Brecken pump station feed that into that particular area there. The recently constructed Highland Reservoir pump station plays a critical role in our water reliability plan when it eventually comes time for that clear well replacement that Rachel's been talking about with the water reliability plan itself. However, this pump station that we've put into service also serves a very important role for our customers in the Highland 1 service area today. Prior to implementation of pumping from the Highland Reservoir pump station, as I mentioned, this area has been served by the constant speed pumps at the Brecken pump station. Those constant speed pumps are designed to supply a constant volume of water into the system. However, if the demand in the system was greater than that pump capacity, system pressures could fluctuate. So what I'm going to show you next is a couple of graphs relative to those pressure fluctuations. This particular graph here, the blue line, is just representation of pressure. This is over about a 1-week span and is back in March prior to us turning on the Highland Reservoir pump station. You can see here that blue line frequently moves up and down as the water use changes in that Highland 1 pressure zone, or as we turn on some of those 3 pump stations that feed off from it. And what would happen here is our customers in those areas on a daily basis could see pressure differences as much as 14 psi, or pounds per square inch, at their resident or at their building itself. The new Highland Reservoir pump station has variable speed pumps, and this allows those pumps to respond to system demand and increase or decrease pumping rates automatically. So unlike the constant speed Brecken pumps, the Highland Reservoir pump station is going to adjust to those system demands and change the amount of flow that it's putting out into the system. This results in a more stable system pressure for our customers, and we've also been able to stabilize those pressures at the highest level that our system can accept. The Highland 1 system still does not have a dedicated storage facility, so we do have to continually pump to maintain water supply to that dark green area there, the Highland 1 customers. To improve system resiliency, this Highland Reservoir pump station has been constructed with automatic backup power to help us maintain system pressure if there is a power outage, since it is critical for us to maintain pumping. So that was my 2 slides there. Again, here you can see that fluctuation is a lot narrower, and if I flip back and forth, you can kind of see that basically the difference that our customers are experiencing. So I just wanted to share that. This pump station itself, as I said, is super important for the water reliability plan, and eventually as we get into clear well bypass, but our customers are seeing good benefits from that right now. Go one more. I think that'll end the slideshow. Perfect. All right, turning to the rest of my report. Last week I did have the opportunity along with other Pittsburgh water staff to attend the AWWA, or the American Water Works Association, annual conference in Washington, D.C. This conference always provides a great opportunity for Pittsburgh Water to showcase our work, learn from others, and also recognize our peers as a national leader in drinking water. And this year really was no difference. 4 highlights that I wanted to share with you from the conference this year. First, I had the opportunity to present on replacing the 120-year-old Clearwell water quality considerations, where I was able to highlight the operational and compliance considerations that we evaluated as we developed the new disinfection process, working through the design of that new Clearwell, the capstone to our water reliability plan project. Secondly, we received national recognition of our water quality and treatment plan optimization, where our Senior Manager of Water Quality, Kevin Wood, accepted the AWWA Partnership for Safe Water Directors Award. Our Chief Information and Performance Officer, Lee Haller, was able to sit in on a panel with other utility leaders to discuss strategies for managing AI-related operational, legal, and financial risks for utility systems. And finally, Sarah Collins, our Manager of Talent Acquisition and Workforce Development, was the recipient of WaterNow's 2026 Emerging Leader Award for efforts to build equitable, future-ready workforce in Pittsburgh by expanding access to meaningful careers in the water sector. An example of that work, and we work with Sarah quite often on the operations side, was the creation of Pittsburgh Water's first apprenticeship program for stationary engineers, where we now have an apprentice stationary engineer working at the water treatment plant to begin developing that pipeline of workforce for us in the future. Turning to our operations, both at the field and plant level, we continue to work through all weather conditions, performing routine maintenance, emergency repairs, as well as placing new infrastructure into service. Some of the work that the engineering team is delivering, including our Lamphor booster disinfection system, as well as that continual work on the Highland Reservoir pump station. The week ahead, though, I wanted to highlight is forecasted, of course, to be probably the warmest week, at least of the summer so far, with multiple extreme heat indices. And accordingly, our safety department is going to be supporting our operations team to help provide refreshers on working in the heat and staying hydrated to allow our operations work to continue safely. I already attended a tailgate this morning at the water treatment plant where this was discussed with all of our team members, and our safety department has already sent out emails to everybody beginning to prep for this. Looking at things to pay attention to the weather. We all have apps on our Pittsburgh Water devices to look at the heat indexes real time. Make sure we're planning our outdoor work accordingly based on trying to get more done in the morning, less strenuous work perhaps in the afternoon, and most importantly to make sure that we're staying hydrated with tap water, though we do also have little quenchers and things like that, and make sure that we look to stay cool and hydrated as we plan our work out there and continue to work in the heat all summer long. And lastly, a brief update on our water quality. So in the month of May, we produced an average of 64 million gallons of drinking water per day, and all of our water quality continued to meet and exceed those standards that we're required to. And we confirmed that through 2,266 laboratory analysis in the month of May. Concludes my report. If there's any questions on environmental compliance or our operations side, I'd be happy to take them.
Thanks, Frank. Any questions?
Yeah. Just a comment, the first pressure plot was pretty profound.
Yes.
I mean, you could see repetitive morning and daytime. I mean, you expect consumption to go up, but that was pretty cool. Never sort of expected that impact on the pressure.
Yeah.
And we're talking about 1 atmosphere, 14 PSI.
Yep, yeah, it's quite substantial.
That's pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of that was from, as I said, we have 3 pump stations. As we turn some of those pumps on and off, they exert a pretty big demand.
Yeah.
That new pump station can ramp itself up and take that up, so we see a much more level pressure. So, yeah.
Good slides.
Thank you.
Frank, I wanted to also say I don't know a lot about PSI, but that was a very impressive change and clearly signals a big improvement for the system. Secondly, I wanted to ask, go back to the training program and ask, so what's the recruiting? Where are you finding potential candidates for that, which is sounds like a great program.
With the stationary engineer?
Yes.
Yeah, we just have one. There's a program that we've developed through the state and then with the union. So we have one apprentice that's already has filled that. I believe it's a 3 or a 4-year cycle that they're on to both do work for us kind of hands-on. So they're at the plant as well as taking their courses that they need to. So the pipeline is generated somewhat through the union, be able to bring that apprentice in, and we're kind of the hands-on place for them to work through. So yeah, it's been a great program. So, and it was a lot of work Sarah did with the state to get that program approved and authorized. So
good.
I just want to say congratulations on the visibility for the work that we're doing, state, local, and national. That doesn't happen by accident. That happens because we're doing a good job of providing safe, clean water for this region. Congrats to the folks who won awards. And then finally, thanks for preparing for the heat that's coming and for making sure that the frontline staff is taken care of.
Thank you.
Thanks. And I am going to do this. Danny Sircone is too far away to kick me, but once again, I forgot to announce that the board met in executive session prior to this meeting to discuss personnel and legal issues. Will?
Thank you, Chair Leber. Good morning, members of the board, members of the public, and Pittsburgh Water staff. Great reports today, so I'll do my best to make my remarks relatively short. But one thing I wanted to share with the board is that you may recall we do perform now annually an employee engagement survey, and the results of those surveys is actually in action. One of the things that we heard from multiple departments is that there was a lack of connection amongst departments, that people were feeling really good about the work they were doing in their role with their team, but didn't know what was going on at a higher level. And so one of the tactics that we have used is that I have joined each of the departments in their meetings and have connected with every one of our teams. I did that over the last 6 weeks or so. And, it is really impressive, the breadth of responsibilities and the diversity of the work that is required to make a utility like Pittsburgh Water operate. I think that diversity, both at the individual level and our skill set and the jobs that we all do, is really one of our greatest assets. And everywhere I went, and this is a growth area that I have seen in my 6-year tenure as CEO, everybody appreciates the importance of our mission, and that is to provide safe and reliable water services now to our residents and for future generations. And one of the clear growth areas also I saw is we're trying to engage our teams on advancing our safety culture and problem solving, is that people felt comfortable sharing areas where they felt that we could improve. And that was the exact type of conversation that we want to continue to encourage and empower our people. So for any Pittsburgh Water staff in the room or listening in, thank you, and we expect that continued engagement and honesty. One of the things that I try to make a point to mention each month, and Frank did even in talking about the heat, is the growth that we are continuing with respect to developing a safety culture. And hopefully the board recognized that in the month of June we did not have a single recordable injury, which is fantastic. We want to maintain that momentum halfway through the year. We're looking at record lows. We know that can change if we're not all vigilant, but a tremendous amount of growth in developing that safety and problem solving culture. And for those of you relying on Pittsburgh Water and our people, you can rest assured that we have an amazing team focused on that mission that I mentioned. Finally, Rachel provided a lot of updates on different projects. There's way too many for us to outline all in this public meeting, but did want to call attention. I know early in the year before the construction season, we talked about our surface operations restoration sites. This is the contract that is designed to permanently restore the sites where Frank and his teams have been performing maintenance or repair work. And to date, they have already restored 473 sites. So that is, we're not even halfway through the construction season. Tremendous progress. So hat tip to everyone involved in that program in getting out there while the weather allows us to restore those neighborhoods where we had to do work. So with that, I will wrap up my remarks, but happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Any questions, comments for Will? Good report, thank you. Okay, resolution number 43 is going to be presented by Will.
Thank you, Chair Leber. Resolution 43 is authorizing the Chief Executive Officer to enter into a lease agreement with Exis Renewables. This resolution is authorizing me, obviously, to enter into a lease with a tenant to lease a portion of the first floor at what we are now calling the Safe Water Center. That's our future administrative headquarters at 3011 Smallman Street.
Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? I do want to ask you, Will, if you could provide a bit of context in terms of how this was part of the original plan when we considered moving into the building, in terms of the finances and the compatibility with the tenants.
Absolutely. As the board may recall, the square footage at the Safe Water Center is in excess of what we require for existing staff. And one of the attractive options of the property was the ability to lease out that additional square footage to offset the cost of purchasing the building, which we did late last year. So this tenant would be occupying a little over half of the first floor. We felt that they were a good fit, given they are focused on renewable energy, and we have been in discussions with them now for many weeks in finalizing the terms, but the initial term of the lease is proposed to be 8 years with options for them to continue to stay with us at 3011 Smallman.
Go ahead.
What's the soonest they'll be ready to move in?
That is a good question. I know their expectation was that they wanted to have this lease finalized in early July. We have, through discussions with them, become aware that they will do some build-out, fit-out activities of their own at their expense. So I would imagine they would be moving in this summer, assuming we can come to an agreement on the exact terms of the lease.
Good news.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution passes. Resolution number 44, Ed Barka.
Resolution number 44, approving the resolution to apply to the Pennsylvania Infrastructure Investment Authority in an amount not to exceed $14 million for the 2027 Catch Basin and Inlet Replacement Project. And just to give some color around that project, it will replace about 600 catch basins, and we plan to apply in July with a potential award in October of this year.
Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second? Any discussion?
Are these targeted for a certain region, neighborhood, or is this system-wide?
It's system-wide, but I believe they're prioritized based on the need and the ability to get in and do the work. We obviously have a backlog, excuse me, in this area, but that's how they're prioritized for this specific project.
And Ed, is this a low-interest loan, a grant, or a combination, as we've seen in the past?
It's unknown at this point. I would expect a low-interest loan just based on the historical awards that we received, but grant could potentially be a possibility, but it's not likely.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 44 is approved.
Okay.
Resolution number 45.
Resolution number 45, approving two resolutions. The first is a resolution to borrow, and the second is a reimbursement resolution for Penvest Award number 80320 for the 2026A lead service line replacement project. The resolution to borrow includes an additional amount approved by Penvest in the amount of $6.1 million. If I could, for the board, this award was already approved, and this resolution to borrow was already approved by our board. However, subsequent to that, we received some higher construction bids than we anticipated. So in order for this award to move forward, we secured the additional funding needed at Penvest, and then now we need to come back to our board per Penvest's requirements to reauthorize the reimbursement, or the resolution to borrow, excuse me. And then the second resolution that's tied to this is the reimbursement resolution. This is a typical resolution for Penvest, and all that it states is that we will interim fund the project, and then at that point submit reimbursements to Penvest for the cost that we interim financed.
Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 45 passes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ed. Resolution number 46, Rachel Beam.
Resolution 46, approving a change order of a professional services agreement for engineering services for the chlorine booster station improvements project to Mott McDonald. Capital budget $1,016,736. This project includes replacing the chlorine feed system, all the equipment, and the buildings at 6 of our existing chlorine booster stations throughout our distribution system. This project previously reached the 90% design phase and then was placed on hold due to budget constraints. And since then, we have reallocated funding to the project to move it forward. This change order includes completion of final design, stakeholder and permitting coordination, bidding phase services, and engineering support during construction and commissioning of the 6 new stations. This task order was originally initiated in 2019, and the majority of this change order consists of additional scope that was not included in the original task order or work that was simply not performed prior and thus not paid when the project was placed on hold.
Do we have a motion? Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Peg? Oh, I see you reaching for your button. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 46 passes. Number 47?
Resolution 47, approving a change order of a capital contract for construction of the 2024 large diameter sewer rehabilitation project to National Gunite. Capital budget $284,718.04. This project consists of the rehabilitation of large diameter sewers in 2 locations. This change order is necessary to address several unanticipated issues that came up during one of those locations at the Frick Park site. The change order items include increasing flagger hours to ensure safety on the nearby park trail, accommodating a city request to open that trail on weekends and for several special events, and addressing greater than anticipated infiltration that we found in the pipe, which was accomplished using shotcrete, which is a sprayed-on applied concrete material.
Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second? Any discussion?
Rachel, I'm just curious, the city's request to change the hours and increase the security and all, was that a discussion prior to the project being initiated, or was that kind of in process?
So kind of both. We did anticipate that security and provisions would be needed at that trail. We originally planned for physical barricades, and what we found as the project went on is that people were walking around the barricades and getting in potentially unsafe situations too close to the construction. So that's why we added the flaggers. The coordination with the city, I don't think we anticipated the need to take down all the barricades and put them back up again for weekends and events. So I can check with the team and see if we coordinated with the city and if that was a change. But it wasn't anticipated at the time that we went out for bid.
Thanks.
I think there were 6 events that there was weekends plus 6 events. I don't think we ended up having to coordinate for all 6 events because I think we're actually finishing a little bit sooner than we thought we would. So I think it ended up being 4 or 5 events that we ended up having to move around.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Resolution number 47 passes. Number 48?
Resolution 48, approving a change order of a capital contract for construction of the 2026 catch basin and inlet replacement project to Independent Enterprises. Capital budget $439,992.85. This contract involves the replacement of public catch basins and inlets throughout our system. The original contract included the replacement of approximately 75 catch basins and/or inlets. And the primary purpose of this change order is to provide funding to perform approximately 20 additional catch basin and/or inlet replacements this year. The contracts came in under budget, which allowed for additional budget to be moved into this project. The assets for this, as was touched on earlier during Ed's resolution, the way we select the assets for replacement are based on a detailed risk-based prioritization process that does account for both the probability of failure, in other words, the condition of the basin and various aspects of that, as well as the consequence of failure, in other words, primarily where is it located, ranging from tertiary roads. We have a 5-point system from tertiary roads up to does it serve a school or a hospital or other major customer.
Do we have a motion to approve? Second?
Second.
Any discussion?
New England, all our curbs are granite. We quarry it in Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and formerly Barry, Vermont. First thing I noticed down here was all the crumbling, chloride-damaged, pavement milling, steel rim, cast concrete curbs. So I noticed granite's being used here. Is this because of a special reason, or is this going to be a change of practice potentially?
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. I didn't mention it, but a portion of this change order does include adding an item to the contract for granite replacement because we are finding that. So we may, depending on contracts going forward, excuse me, we may have a granite replacement item. All our projects are unit-based, unit bid items. So we may include that going forward just so that we have a price for it in future contracts. But that's part of this change order is to add that.
This could be the one little piece of New England in Pittsburgh.
Right.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, the specialty item.
I'll have to go visit it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 48 passes. Our final resolution, number 49.
All change orders today. Resolution 49, approving a change order of an operating contract for the 2026 manhole and point repair project to Independent Enterprises. Operating budget $228,927. The manhole and point repair is an annual contract involving primarily the repair of existing sewers and installation and raising of manholes throughout our system. Similar to the previous resolution, we were able to identify additional operating funds to help address our backlog of repairs this year. This is an indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity contract, and we won't know exactly where and how many additional sites will be added until the contractor performs field reconnaissance. However, based on our current burn rate and average cost per site, we anticipate approximately 15 additional sites could be completed with these additional funds, which could be a combination of manhole installations, manhole raises, and/or sewer pipe point repairs.
Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Resolution number 49 passes.
Thank you.
I just want to make a few comments. One, to sort of underscore the point that hopefully has been clear through this meeting and other meetings, is the put on customer notification. When you look at these presentations, you realize how much activity is going on out in our community, as Will pointed out, and the staff and the board are absolutely committed to communicate as best we can so that our ratepayers are aware of what we're going to do and what we're doing and how we're going to do it. I also want to once again thank the state and PennVest for their support. It's very clear from Ed's reports that in terms of grants or low-interest loans, that's really allowing us to do more work for less money for our ratepayers, which is really our goal as we move forward. And finally, enjoy the July 4th. I was sitting here thinking my dad's career was as a safety manager for Caterpillar Tractor, so I have all these safety things in my head, like don't go near the fireworks. It doesn't matter how little they are, but just be careful, be safe, and enjoy. Thank you.